Welcome everybody back to the Fight Rundown, a very special episode here today. We have the annual, third or fourth annual?
Is it the third annual?
I think it's the third annual UFC Awards, the Fight Rundown Awards for the UFC. Of course, my name's Jeevan.
I'm Bowles. We're suited and booted.
We are, yeah. You're going for the full tuxedo.
I've gone all out, yeah.
I've gone for the just a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Like a Seth Rollins style, the hair down. And I'm excited, Bowles. We've got a different setup, so shout out to the people that us use this setup.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've got so many awards to go into. We've got all the awards. We're going to talk through everything. The boxing one is next week. Next Tuesday, the boxing ones drop. So this one, this Tuesday, which you're watching now, and the next one next Tuesday. So guys, plenty of content. But probably the two favourite videos of the year for me.
Yeah, very excited. It should have been done probably a lot sooner, but here we are.
Yeah, busy start to the UFC schedule in the year, so obviously broke it up a bit.
Yeah.
But we don't like putting this in the calendar purely for the facts that it gets mixed. It gets lost in the shuffle a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
The first award. We need we should have had a sound.
Yeah.
Or like a little drum roll. First award of the evening is going to be the what's it called? UFC Knockout of the Year. I think it's the most fiery one. It's the big one. It's the coolest one. It's the most viral. What we've weighed into this is not only the knockout, the importance of the knockout, and a bit of a weigh up of them all. So the way we've done it, we've nominated them, and we'll find out who wins.
Yeah,
make sure to let us know on Instagram and TikTok or Facebook or Twitter your thoughts, who you thought won. Kicking it off with the first nominee. We've got so many devices on the go, haven't we, Bowles?
We've got literally like 5 or 6 on the go.
So we're going to go to the first one here. I've got all the timestamps, try to be super official with this. As you can see, first one, Pereira versus Prochazka. Let's take a quick look. Sure we got it. Beginning of round 2, round 1.
That was tremendous.
And Pereira, you can see just below.
Beautiful. And of course, that's against one of the scariest men in the division as well, Prochazka. So
it was probably one of the most scariest knockouts we've seen.
Yeah.
Fantastic form. Drops him so bad. And that is the first nominee. Also, we are live on TikTok, so shout out to everyone on the TikTok. So make sure to give your thoughts. And then moving on to number 2, we go to. Of course, I think everyone saw this one come in.
Yeah,
maybe the most skilled knockout: Shahrabullet versus Armen Petrosyan.
Right hand got through for Magomedov, and now a body kick for Shahrabullet.
Insane. Insane. Bowles thoughts on that one?
Like you said, just pure skill, timing as well. You know, that sort of thing. You know, years in the gym gets you. I mean, it's fantastic. You can see there as well. You know, very mobile, a lot of bouncing on the feet, and quite loose. And you know, it's good to see. You know, he's not stiff and all. It doesn't. Yeah, it looks easy.
Loading up. He's not loading up.
It looks easy for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And finally, we are going to. I mean, who again? These are somewhat gifties.
Yeah. It's got a lot to it, that one, hasn't it? Situation as well as the knockout. You know, literally like the latest knockout of all time.
1 second left.
Yeah.
How can you get?
You can't get any later.
That?
An absolute stunner at UFC.
It's 3. To be fair, probably 3 of the best. Or maybe the toughest awards to go for. You look at Pereira, the year he had, and then he goes and does that against someone he's already beat. He only went and beat him better. Shahrabullet, probably the most skilled knockout in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You'll never see that again. But finally, you have a mix of the two with Max and Gaethje. Obviously, the clutchness, the performance, the stage, and the finish was pretty good. Not as good as I think the other two, but you add all of it up.
Yeah.
It was a big one. Should we put the countdown on? What's the? I think you're teasing a button there.
I was just going to go for a suspense builder.
Yeah. So after all said, I think we'll announce the winner with this one.
Which one? This one?
Up. Yeah.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2024 Knockout of the Year is Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. It's got to be, hasn't it?
It has to be.
It was
Like I said,
best.
it's got that situation, literally the latest knockout of all time. And Holloway, who there was always question marks about what he was going to do, and he goes in there with Gaethje. Always, they call him the human highlight reel, fantastic. And then he goes in there, and I think he defied the odds that night with getting a knockout. But
Great shot.
Fantastic finish. It was only one winner for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's the best one. It's probably the best knockout ever. I don't think anything will ever top it. UFC 300 stole the show. Ridiculous. Made $1 million alone off that.
Yeah.
Could have even been fight of the night.
Yeah.
For fight of the year anyway. But we are moving on to fighter of the year. This is another one that has a lot of potential options. I've actually ended up picking 6. I've given 3 honourable mentions and 3, obviously, spots nominees. So the honourable mentions are Bilal Muhammad, Tom Aspinall, and Dricus du Plessis. Do you think any of them are being snubbed, Bowles? Because, by the way, the way we're doing it, I've done the UFC awards, Bowles is doing the boxing awards, so it's a bit of suspense for both of us.
Looking at that, I agree that they stay honourable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with you 3 that you've got there.
Okay, cool. So, we're not got videos for everyone, just because sometimes it is a bit long.
Yeah.
Also, honourable mention for knockout was Benoit Saint-Denis versus Poirier. That was insane. That was just pretty clutch. First fighter of the year, it's got to be this man right here. Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
The year he's had, he's beat the greatest featherweights back-to-back, Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the same year. It's a God's given, isn't it?
It is.
He's going to be in the top 3.
Yeah, and he's potentially this year he's going to have a chance to put himself in a GOAT conversation at some point.
Yeah.
If he goes and fights Makhachev and beats him, then he's definitely in that conversation. He is that good, and he's definitely in the top 3 pound for pound at the moment.
Yeah, agreed. Insane year for him. Again, the competition's so high this year. It's hard on any other year. I feel like obviously it's a guarantee. This one, it's a close one. We'll obviously once we go through the nominations. Secondly, Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev's, again, just doing things, making everything look easy, winning every round. Look at his Poirier performance. Pieced him and then got the submission. Almost a little spoiler. Didn't quite make it into the top 3 for submissions of the year, but technique-wise, it's insane, isn't it?
He's boringly good, isn't he?
That's the perfect way to say it, yeah. It's another fantastic year for Islam. I'm pretty sure he won our last year's award.
Yeah.
So he's looking at back-to-back. We'll only find out and see. And our third nominee is, of course, might as well just get it up here. It's Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
It's another great year for Alex. I think 2 years ago he won Breakout Star. Last year finished second for Fighter of the Year. This year in the top 3 again. Like he's doing numbers on the Fight Rundown, isn't he?
He is, and absolutely he's he's saving the show now as well. That's another reason why he's up there. Is taking every single fight that.
By the way, this is the 4th.
Yeah.
This is the 4th annual year of awards.
Is it the 4th?
It was your first ever episode.
Was it?
Yeah. Remember the first time you came on? We did.
Was it an awards show?
It was an award show. You was a special guest that day. Yeah. So again, he wasn't even in the award show on the first ever episode.
No.
And now he's here. Again,
literally
back to back potential fighter of the year.
Literally stealing the show.
So, all said and done. Let's go to the award winner, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of the Fighter of the Year 2024 is Alex Pereira. He's done it. I think
has to be.
I feel for Topuria,
Yeah.
and I almost spoiled it. As I said, any other year it's Topuria's award. But
100%.
God, Pereira, look at the year he had. Roundtree, Jamal Hill, of course, Yuri. It's unheard of, isn't it?
It is, and like I say, like
Tried to fight Ankalaev as well.
yeah, it takes every fight he can. Of course, he's got a good fight with Ankalaev coming up soon, and that's going to be insane, which we will preview. But you know, looking back at that year, it's like no matter what, he's just come out of nowhere, hasn't he? A couple of years ago, a year or so ago, can't quite remember when, but
2022 he was
a couple of years ago,
fighting Sean Strickland.
literally, and he's come up and out of nowhere, in the space of a couple of fights, puts himself in the GOAT conversation already.
Yeah.
And it's just what he's managed to do in so few fights. It's literally unheard of, like we said. So, yeah, he definitely deserved the award.
Yeah, I feel for Topuria because he's got two of the great. It's probably one of two of the best back-to-back wins ever.
Yeah.
But that's what he does. That's what Pereira does. He's the man for a reason.
And he's almost the face of the UFC now.
Yeah, exactly. I think he is. I think
Yeah.
you say UFC, you think of him. I've never seen a bigger star who can't speak English. I'm not saying that in a pretentious way, but
It's one of the
it's a
things
Western
that's
brand,
required.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Western brand. Everyone speaks English. The commentary team,
Yeah.
Dana, and he's a massive star. And props to him. Sometimes it shows that you don't need to have a mouth on you to be
Shows
the best.
how good he is, though, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It
that's
really does.
He does his talking in the octagon.
Yeah.
And now the women's fighter of the year. I'll be honest. We've gone from the best category, the hardest one to pick from for the top three, to the worst one.
Yeah.
And this is no dig on the women because obviously they do have a tough time. But
Yeah.
what I will say is there's just not been enough big fights made in the women's division. Probably the worst year for the women's division ever in the UFC.
It's true.
I think it's been really bad.
Yeah.
And you'll tell by my reasoning for the top three. First, Valentina Shevchenko only fought once. Does get a win at UFC Noche. At the Sphere. And it was a fantastic win for herself. Kayla Harrison has gone onto the scene. Not quite burst.
Onto the scene.
Not quite burst.
I'm getting too excited.
So, yeah, a good year for her, going
Yeah.
2-0. And finally, Zhang Weili, a fantastic year for herself. 2 fights, 2 wins. She's looking to just cement herself in that division now. Looks like no one's going to come near her. So, that being said, the winner of the award for the Women's Fighter of the Year is Zhang Weili. It's a given, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the sort of fighters that are there, it's a real shame because usually, you know, the women's division's a lot more active, I guess, with good fighters, but it's just one of those. Weili's just separated herself amongst the rest. I mean, of course, back in the day, like it was ages ago, but you know, you had your Nunez's, your Weilis, and your Holly Holmes or whatever.
Peñas.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and just none of that this year, which is a bit of a shame for the women. But you know, Kayla Harrison's up and coming. She's going to be there or thereabouts this year, I reckon, probably for a Women's Fighter of the Year place.
Yeah.
But Weili just separates the good from the great this year.
Yeah,
Last year.
100%. And this one was that hard. I had to go and look at other pages, see who they've nominated, because I feel like there was no one there for him.
Craig just says you've not missed with the verdicts yet, with the winners. So
Appreciate that, Craig. Like I said, if there is anyone you're thinking, feel free to let us know. But
yeah,
honestly, very poor for the women's year booking wise. Zhang Weili was an honourable mention for a fight of the year as well with Yan Jianan. Now moving on, speaking of fight of the year, we're going to go to the fight of the year. This is my favourite one. Of course, plenty of great fights in the year in the UFC. They're always delivering, that's for sure. So our 3 nominees are, firstly, Lubezki versus Mortek Orablai. I mean, I'm just going to flick through. Look at his eye.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst eyes we've ever seen. And that was only in the second round.
It was a shock win as well, wasn't it? Because Orablai was meant to be this Mongolian beast who almost unbeatable. And then Rebecca comes in, you know, that Polish power, and he showed it. And it was, like I say, it was a bit of a surprise because I definitely didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's lagging.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite simply just an absolute. It was a look at the blood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're into all that, but I think it's one of them fights. Anyone watching, you want to just go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
All-time fight for myself. There's 2 fights on here that I think will go down in 2 of my favorite fights of all time. Definitely both in the top 25, maybe even top 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at the bloodbath. Ridiculous. They gave everything. They couldn't breathe right at the end. And then moving on.
What a moment right here. It's like this every time he fights. But just this
Exactly.
moment.
It had everything, didn't it? It had, when Roundtree knocked him down, it had that shock factor to it as well. And then Pereira obviously getting the job done. It's, fair play to Roundtree. He really established himself as world class probably after that fight.
Yeah, you can see the knockdown there. It's a shocker.
Yeah.
It's a perfect shot. It's not a fraud knockdown. It's a 100% clean knockdown.
Yeah.
Gets him good, and the finish is just Pereira to a T. Another round 4. I love a round 4 finish.
Yeah.
Usually people take the round 4 off, knowing they're going to the championship rounds. Not these guys. Go in there, and you could tell he had it. He was. Look at him. You've never seen Pereira like that. Usually, he was fucked, to be honest. So, all-time fight. Again, what a fight. Pereira's best fight of his career. I don't think he'll top that one.
Got taken into deep waters and showed that he can swim as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the Sphere. Zell Huber versus Esteban Ribicos. I'll be honest, I'm going to give a little spoiler here. This and Orblai are the top 2. I couldn't believe this. It took me probably about, I watched both of these fights twice each to decide a winner.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest. Before this fight, I was thinking, who's Zell Huber? Who's Ribicos? And then I leave this fight knowing, I know that both of them, I can't wait for the next fight.
Yeah.
And they did it on the biggest stage. I think there was I don't know how many knockdowns there is in this fight, maybe 7 knockdowns between them. And it was on the biggest stage, UFC Sphere. Think about how much Dana gassed it up, how much of a big event it was. I know I'm only flicking through, I'm not doing it justice, so guys, seriously go back and watch these fights. Absolutely ridiculous. Just wait for the big moment. Look at that. Took a huge shot to the jaw, comes out with a massive elbow, great scramble. Straight back. Round 3 is just probably one of the best rounds of the year. It's either this or Orblai round 2. And yeah, it's how you look at this and how's Zell Huber not out? It's a flurry of punches. I would have called it off maybe there, if I'm being honest. And he just keeps taking him. This is Mexican heart, and that's all that Dana was going on about throughout the whole time, how strong the Mexicans are. I
think you almost got to give him the benefit of the doubt that with the Mexican, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You always get an extra chance.
Yeah, it was, especially seeing it in a lightweight fight. It's just lightweight, they say welterweight, lightweight, best division. It's what the most people walk around at.
Yeah.
Back in the day anyway. And look at this. He don't even know where he is. He's just spamming UFC 5 moves right there. And
that cardio is insane as well.
Yeah, even from Ribicos, to be fair. The amount he was punching, rip into the body as well. I think he should have done that earlier. Could have got him out. And then Zell Huber comes back. It's just, look at that. How can you come back after all that?
Yeah.
Onslaught. And they still have 2 minutes left. I could just keep watching this fight now. It's just insane. Ladies and gentlemen, gonna go to the winner now. The toughest decision of the night for me is between Rybicki. It's between Orblai. The winner of the UFC Awards is Daniel Zell Huber versus Esteban Ribicos. It was a tough decision.
The way you was gassing that up, we all knew. We all knew what you was picking there.
I couldn't take my eyes off it. I think this had the better round.
Yeah.
This was more, but this was like, God, how is this a fact that Zell Huber come back? He's come back of the year right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, he got
I don't hate you for it.
Yeah, and a big win for Esteban Ribicos.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the submission of the year. I've only gone for 2. I feel like I don't think they were quite deserved 3. So I can delete these now. Let's go into them. First of all, we have
Time pre-UFC at welterweight 13 years ago back in 2011. Never at 85.
Balls. We can believe it, could we?
His jaw literally broke his jaw from squeezing.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. That's some serious squeeze, that. And yeah, we picked Whittaker. Didn't think Chimaev had it in him after struggling against Gilbert Burns and Usman. And you get in there with Whittaker and he gets the job done.
Breaks his jaw.
Made it look easy. Made it look like I was in there with Chimaev, you know. It was that easy for him. And yeah, it's definitely worthy of the list.
Yeah, 100%. It was a fantastic finish from Chimaev.
Was brutal sub.
And then moving on.
Oh, Izzy said no, stand
Talk about stage. Yeah, for the rear naked chokes right here.
Yeah.
Pereira.
Duplessis, best bad fighter of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%. The fact that he finished Izzy.
He's not pretty, is he? But he really is effective.
That's clutch.
Yeah.
The fact that he made Izzy tap. He rocked him as well on the feet. He rocked Izzy. You look at his style. You look at Izzy's style.
It's the biggest surprise, isn't it? It depends what you like. Do you like the submission or do you like the stage and the surprise?
Yeah, 100%. Both of them, not crazy submissions. It's not like a DJ flying armbar.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, they're both. This fight is the definition of when you see a 3 with a girl with who's 11. You know what I mean? So how's he done that?
Yeah.
And that is what we was all thinking after the fight.
All too common.
It is. Yeah, both of them very similar, I would say.
Yeah.
But saying that, we're going to go to the winner.
It's a tough one.
Have you got one in your head that you feel like you'd give it to? Hard,
think
isn't
about
it?
it.
Hard. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Submission of the Year 2024 is... No, it's Dricus versus Adesanya.
It has to be based on... Yeah, exactly. It's a title fight.
And it's around 4 again, you know?
Yeah.
It's insane. It was a good fight. He was losing the fight as well. So you've got to give a bonus for that. Chimaev... kind of see it coming with Chimaev at times, and it only holds him back because how good he is.
Yeah,
but yeah, fantastic. And then finally, 2 more awards. First of all, we have the burst onto the scene pick.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
Which we're going to go to now. I'm just going to put this on screen just because.
Yeah, just because he did burst on the scene.
So Bowles, you actually gave the reasoning of the burst onto the scene. I'll let you just quickly.
Yeah, so the difference between the breakout star and the burst onto the scene. The breakout star is somebody who's been on the scene, but they've had that win that takes them to the next level. And then the burst onto the scene is someone who you most likely people hadn't really heard of until this year, and now they're like almost a fan favorite, and you know they've come on, and now everybody knows their name.
So that's the breakout, isn't it?
The breakout is someone who has been on the radar already, but then they've had that win that's took them to the next level. Yeah,
that's it. And burst, of course, like you said, something we didn't know about. So 3 nominations here. We have Gene Silver, Carlos Prates, and Diego Lopez. The year of the fighting nerds.
Yeah, 100%.
You could have even put Maurizio Ruffi in there. But we'll go through them all. Gene Silver, a huge win against Charles Jourdain. Didn't see that coming. Also Drew Dober. That's some serious wins right there. Carlos Prates ending the year fantastically. Fight night main event. Again, who's doing that? He's cigarettes 5 times a day. And Diego Lopez, I mean, where do we start with him? It's ridiculous. Diego, Brian Ortega, a bit more seasoned than the other 2. Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
But again, he's just made a huge name for himself. I feel like, we did kind of know him last year, but compared to the other 2, but also this year was ridiculous. Not quite breakout, but he definitely deserved to be mentioned tonight.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going for the burst on scene. All being said, who do you think? Do you think all 3 of them deserve this spot, Bowles?
Yeah, I do. It's a tough one because they've all... Carlos Prates obviously got his first main event, didn't he?
Yeah, against Neil Magny.
So he's definitely... that goes to show how far they've come, all of the fighting nerds, to be able to actually headline at a UFC event. Diego Lopez, as we said, a little bit of a different level, I feel like, at the moment. Gene Silver. I've been called Gene Silver on the TikTok Live a couple of times. Fighting nerds on top, exactly. Of course, they are on top. But Brazilians, you know, they're known for doing serious damage in the UFC. But for me, the pick's hard because it's almost like, do you class someone like Prates or Gene Silva more of a like unknown quantity when the year started than Diego Lopez?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
That's it. It's a really tough decision. But all being said, the person who
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
is Gene Silva.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
Gene Silva gets the award. Diego Lopez, I feel like I've snubbed him, I can't lie. He's done more, but again, it's the unknown entity.
Yeah.
I did not know Gene Silva beginning of the year. And then he fights 2 weeks apart, 2 weight classes, a win against Charles Jourdain. That's mad.
It is.
That's really good. You can't be shocked at that one.
Everyone knows the fighting nerds now, don't they?
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, they've burst onto the scene properly.
Yeah.
And this man would be proud.
He would.
Be very proud.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
He did.
Could I get one more?
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
What beast, by the way?
Yeah, I know. He's looking insane there.
A bit
isn't
jealous of Micah Richards.
he? Why always Meeks?
It's never been Meeks, has it?
I mean, what is the most burst onto the scene picture? I don't want to side note too much.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
Every time you say burst onto the scene, it comes up.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
It's got to be that one. That is the
That's
burst
onto the scene.
I burst onto the scene, didn't I?
If we ever was to get a new studio, we'd have to plaster him in the background somewhere,
Yeah.
wouldn't we?
Yes. We need to get him on the pod for some reason.
Oh my god.
Be insane.
That would be so sick.
He's too big for us, though, isn't he? Unfortunately. For now.
Yeah, because he's burst. He has
I burst onto the scene,
burst on
didn't
the
I?
scene. And finally, breakout star of the year. As Bowles mentioned, 3 fighters who have gone from, we already know him, to the next level. Firstly, Dricus. I mean, you talk about the jump. He wasn't champion. Then he beat Strickland at the beginning of the year that we forget. The win against Adesanya, a massive one. Well done, Bowles.
Thank you.
You want to collect your award? Tom Aspinall. Where do we start with him? You know what I mean, it's unfortunately he's been on the back burner, but he's gone and got things done solidly this year. And finally, Hakeem Buckley. He was a mix between the two. You could have put maybe him onto the burst, but we know how big he was in 2020. The massive knockout.
The Kasanganai knockout
Yeah,
was almost his moment, but, you know, he's propelled to a new level after that, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And yeah, he's took a lot of losses in between.
He has.
But this year, he made a massive jump. So, that being said...
For me, there's an obvious winner. But
You think?
Yeah. But, I mean, again, interesting.
The winner of the breakout star of the year is... Hakeem Buckley.
Yeah.
It's Torres.
Oh. Hakeem
There we
Buckley's got
go.
it.
That's the right answer.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
You agreed.
Yeah.
See, you hit the hype. Oh,
Yeah,
Right
that's
there.
why. Yeah, I was ready to click the nervous, you know.
was you?
But
Yeah.
but you done me proud there.
I mean, let's quickly go through it. Aspinall, I feel like he's already propelled, but he deserves to be mentioned in some sort of award.
Yeah.
Duplessis, yeah, he did great, but the fact that Hakeem Buckley went from unranked to beating Stephen Thompson to fighting Colby Covington, that's unheard of. That's
100%.
an unheard of jump.
As you said, Buckley's exploded this year. He absolutely has, and it's for me, it's completely out of the blue.
Yeah.
With I can't believe he's done it, and now he's putting himself almost in a title picture in the space of a year. It's an underdog story, in my opinion. It really is.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
didn't expect it. I mean, he fought. Who does it? Fought a couple of years ago. His first big fight was against Kevin Holland, was it?
Yeah, he lost to Kevin Holland.
Lost that
Yeah.
one.
He's lost quite a few. He lost another big one. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to search it up. But yeah, it's such a journey he's been on.
Yeah.
I think he's taken 5 losses since 2020.
Yeah.
So, and now he's ended the year beating Colby, and he's lined himself up against probably Ian Gary.
Huge.
Or something of that sort. What a year for him.
I want him to get as many big fights as possible. You know, I want to get him in there with Shavkat. I want to get him in there with everybody. You know, he deserves it.
He's knocking on the door for a title shot. I think he's one win away now.
He is.
So,
if he beats Ian Gary,
yeah.
then that's it.
And he's got the style.
Yeah.
He's got the style.
Everyone watching on a TikTok as well, 10,000 likes, me and Jeeve having a fight. So, yeah, I just thought I'd get that in there. Now there's a couple of people in.
And ladies and gentlemen, the UFC awards have now been done. We hope you enjoyed. It's let us know. Do you think there's any ones you would change? If not, that's fine. Just keep talking to us on Instagram and TikTok. We've got a massive watch party on February 22nd at Rax Pool and Bar. Free entry. Come in, all we ask, throw us a couple of pounds to get the tables covered. And
yeah, donations are accepted.
Of course, yeah. And we mean that because we're doing it for free.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, we can't wait to see everyone down. It's going to be so sick. Massive fight. Big Bobby Tail. We have 2. And TikTok, what did you guys think of the awards?
Yeah.
Was it a good awards? Is there any you disagree with? So just quickly to run over the winners. Breakout star Buckley. Burst onto the scene Gene Silver. Submission of the year Duplessis. Fight of the year Zettel Huber and Bribakos. Women's fighter Zhang. Men's fighter Pereira. Knockout of the year Holloway versus Gaethje. We thank you for joining us. My name has been Jeeve.
I've been Bowles.
And we will see you soon.